like wrangling cats or corgis.
Then.
Hey, internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is How Does Your Garden Grow? Episode 3 of Hope and Redemption, our Harper's Tale mini-campaign, happening every other Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain. And welcome! It is so exciting to be back here. It's one of the joys, I think, of having a game that doesn't happen on a weekly basis. You just get that much more excited when we all get together and continue with our adventures. And I'm so lucky as a DM to have such a wonderful group of human beings playing in this game as we tell this story, the story of Harper's Tale, as we tell that story together. In fact, if anybody wants to, type !Harper in the chat, and there is a link to where you can find out more about this book. It's wonderful. It was the story behind how it was created is incredible. And the story of the namesake of this book. And it's just a wonderful collection of 10 adventures that we are running through as a group of friends for the next few months until we're done telling our story. But we are going to get to that in just a moment. We will continue along. I do want to start off with a handful of announcements, as we usually do. I have tweaked the schedule command in the chat to show a little more accurately what games we have here on the channel. Tomorrow night, I can be found over on Erasmus Expeditions. We are nearing the end of our Momentum Whispers and Fragments campaign. An absolutely incredible game DM'd by Jeremy Lilly of Erasmus Expeditions in his homebrew world. It is some of the most intense character-to-character roleplay I have ever experienced in my life. So I highly recommend checking out that campaign. It's not for the faint of heart, mature subject themes, but definitely check it out. And of course, on Thursday, you can find V here again, along with the aforementioned Jeremy and several other friends. And this Thursday, we are super excited because M is returning after about 3 or 4 months of being away. They were on a literal excursion to the far north, pursuing their career goals. But they are returning this Thursday to our Dawnbringers Season 5 Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign. And this will be the first of a 3-episode arc where we find out where M's character Fig has been during this entire time since Fig teleported away. So it's going to be really exciting to see how that plays out. And then this Sunday, over on Talon and Claw, I will be participating in our usual Sea of Thieves live stream. But this Sunday, we are doing another Team Squad Up Quest for the Cure charity stream. So we will be up for 4 hours streaming Sea of Thieves, helping to raise money for Jesse's journey and in the fight against Duchenne muscular dystrophy. So please tune into Talon and Claw to check out that. We're going to be doing just a lot of fun stuff. We've got some giveaways from D&D Beyond, Talon and Claw, and some other sponsors. And I have made a promise that it is my goal to blow up at least every single person on the crew, including myself, multiple times. I didn't get the nickname Boom for nothing. So please tune in for that.
Shot out of a cannon.
What's that?
Who's getting shot out of the cannon?
My dog, Boomer. Gary has promised he will continue to shoot my dog, Boomer. That's okay. I shoot his cat, Phil, out of the cannon all the time, too.
Shoot him out of the cannon. Leave the cat alone. I
can't put him in the cannon. I can only put the animals in the cannon. They come back. They're fine. They're fine. They're fine.
I have clearly not played enough Sea of Thieves to understand that you can put the animals in the cannon.
Yep.
You can put people in the cannon too.
I've done that. It's fun.
I put my dog on the deck, and then I start a timer to see how long before I hear the wail of Boomer as Gary shoots him out. So this Sunday, though, you can see all of that while we raise money for Jesse's journey and the quest for the cure. So tune in for that. Speaking of Talon and Claw, if you type !MTD Claw in the chat, you will get a link for our sponsor. The word escaped me. Our sponsor, Talon and Claw. You can check out their store. They got a lot of great sales going on right now for things such as these wonderful dice vaults, DM screens, all kinds of accessories. And if you use code MTD Claw, there you go. Got the GM Lay special edition calligraphy butts Hero Vault. Fantastic. But you can head over there, use code MTD Claw, and you will get 10% off of your order, and that will help to support Mini Terrain Domain. Big Bearded Nerd Dwight is reminding me because it's Tuesday. I forgot to mention I went all the way to Sunday and I stopped. On Mondays, we have returned with our All That Glitters Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage campaign. We've revamped it. Dwight is now our DM. I'm still playing 6 Days in the Summer. M also plays in that game. We'll be returning as Anna the Rogue this coming Monday. And we also have new to Mini Terrain Domain with this game. We have our friend Ricky and D&D Jordan Lee, from also known from the Thread Raiders, but who also has their own wonderful channel where they're doing video gaming stuff. And I believe you can often find Jordan and GoblinKatie palling around together.
We shenanigate.
Yep, shenanigate. I love it.
Yeah.
So there you go. Let's see. Jasper's Game Day, of course. We are officially partnered with Jasper's Game Day. If you type !Jaspers in the chat, there's a link where you can donate directly to Jasper's. They are an incredible organization dedicated to raising awareness, education, and ultimately the elimination of suicide through tabletop gaming. Their goal throughout the year is to raise money to support things like the Teen Suicide Lifeline, the National Suicide Lifeline, and again, as I said, education services and the like. And they're getting ready to have their first batch. Actually, their first batch of ambassadors technically don't start till 2021, but they have already been raising thousands of dollars for Jasper's Game Day through their own channels. And all of that money goes to benefit the aforementioned services. And another way, through Mini Terrain Domain, that you can donate to Jasper's and get a little something for yourself, especially if you like coffee, type !Coffee in the chat, and you will find a link to get yourself some Metade roast coffee from Initiative Coffee Company's Help Action. We've partnered with them for this lovely Peruvian and Brazilian medium roast coffee that for every 12-ounce bag that you purchase, $3 of that goes to benefit Jasper's Game Day. So head on over there and get yourself some coffee. They make great gifts. You know, the holidays coming up. Of course, we want to say a huge shout out to D&D Beyond, who has given us insider access. I use D&D Beyond to power all my campaigns. In fact, you can mouse over this and you can see all of these wonderful characters that these amazing humans are playing. We are going to get going here in just a moment, and I'm going to let them all introduce themselves and their characters here real quick. But I have one final message. This is an important one. You matter. I need you to hear that. I'm going to say it again so you do hear it. You matter. Whether or not you believe it, no matter what you're going through at this moment, please understand that your presence on this earth makes a difference. It can be difficult, especially in 2020 with the holidays and all of that. We know things are rough, but there's help available out there. And oftentimes it's literally just a text message or a phone call away. And you just have to take that step to reach out and ask for help. It is so important and become such a major part of our mission here at Mini Terrain Domain to do our part to destigmatize things around and discussions around mental health. So I have been very open about my own journey with and struggles with anxiety and depression. I started seeing a therapist over a year ago. I have a therapy appointment tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to talking with my therapist about some of the things I've been dealing with. And I never regret talking to my therapist. I never regret that I reached out. I only regret that I took so long to do it. But the time was right. So the way that we are helping you to seek that help is periodically it will pop up in the chat, or you can type !help at any point in time, whether we are streaming or not. And the National Suicide Lifeline here in the United States, the Canadian Crisis Text Line, as well as the Canada Suicide Prevention Services phone number, and a hyperlink that will take you to resources all around the world, a full list of worldwide services available. So wherever you are, you can find the best place for you to reach out and make that phone call or send that text message. Please do so. You are not a critical failure. With that, I'm going to throw it over to my amazing players and give them an opportunity to introduce themselves and tell us where we can find you. We are going to start with GoblinKatie and go counterclockwise today. Clockwise. Whatever. We're going to go around.
The character or the spiel?
What's that?
Is this the character or the spiel of where we're found?
Both.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I am Katie Downey, aka GoblinKatie. Tonight, I will be playing Mrs. Theodora Cain, a changeling warlock. Fabulous to be here. You can normally find me on all the socials at GoblinKatie. And let's see, on every other Tuesday, you can find me here. On Saturdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can find me on the Thread Raiders channel playing Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden. And every Sunday at 7 p.m., you can catch me on D4 at Rock Punch ATL's Twitch channel, or D&D. You can also go to the official D&D channel. We are hosted by them. We are done for the month. We will be starting up again next year on D4. However, we're doing a binge-a-thon where Rock Punch is airing every episode we've done so far. I think it's like 350 hours of game. And it's going to be streaming for the entire month of December. So you can pop in and catch stuff maybe while you're working. Your boss will be fine with it, I'm sure. But in addition to that, you can also catch me on the Stellar Arcanum podcast, which we are getting ready to start going back into the studio and recording some episodes. So it's a good time to get in and get your teeth into it. And that's me.
Me next, if we're going clockwise.
Yes.
Look, we're self-sufficient now. Well, anyway, so far. Hi, everybody. I'm Eugenio. You might know me as DM Jazzy Hands. You can find me on Twitter and here on Twitch at DM Jazzy Hands. And tonight I am playing Rodney Copperfield. He is a gnome, let's go with wizard. And he has a familiar who is a chinchilla named Pip. And now he has a best friend who is kind enough to allow him to ride on him named Secheda, who is an awakened spell-casting mastiff-sized corgi. So that's Rodney. What else? You could, like I told you, where you can find me on Twitter and Twitch. I stream sometimes here, variety video game streamer. Monday nights, I'm on the Roll20 channel playing a game of Burn Bright, a science fantasy system GM'd by Celeste Conowitch of the Venture Maidens. And Sundays, I was trying to think if there's anything else, but no. And Sunday nights over on Tani DePass's channel, twitch.tv/CypherOfTyr. I am the storyteller game runner for Into the Motherlands, a brand new sci-fi setting and game system powered by Cortex. That's a little of where you can find me.
Excellent.
We can do it.
I guess that's me then, isn't it? Well, that get my Timothy. Well, that's me, isn't it? Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Raphael Bocamatzo, better known as Dr. B. I'm a doctor of clinical psychology, and I am also the clinical director over at the game mental health nonprofit Take This. And I'm real happy to be here with all of these wonderful, wonderful folks on such a mental health friendly stream. And I play Timothy, and he's a early career young developmental psychomancer. He's a mind domain cleric, and he wants to be friends with everybody. And oh boy, does he try hard.
Love him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can find me takethis.org, at takethis.org on Twitter, and also on my personal socials at the Dr. B on the Twitters.
I guess that just leaves me. Hi everyone, I'm V Muse. Tonight I'm going to be playing Bianca Beltane, who you may have seen in various formations at various channels doing various things at BV's place, but you can also find me personally most often over on the Twitter as the Crafting Muse, but you can also check out my YouTube channel, which has tons of VOD for how to paint your miniatures and make miniature terrain. You can find me here on Mini Terrain Domain, not Mondays, nope, Thursdays. What day of the week is it?
I don't know.
I don't know anymore. You can find me every Thursday here for the Dawnbringers playing Cantriel, as well as, here, like what we were talking about before, as Bianca. You can also find me on other channels doing different appearances, so keep an eye out for that. If I look familiar, that's because, I'm doing something else somewhere else, and it's fun. And I think that's and you can find me derp every Wednesday doing Mini Mayhem.
About to say.
Honey. You can find me every Wednesday over on WizKids' official YouTube channel doing Mini Mayhem, where I show you the latest releases or the upcoming releases for all things wonderful miniatures from D&D, Pathfinder, and then some. Now I'm done.
All right. And I forgot one thing that I wanted to mention. If you look up above GoblinKatie's head, you'll notice a +10 and some blue D20s up there. Those are our domain dice. That is a way that you, the viewer, can have an impact on what happens here with the game. For every $5 that you tip, every 500 bits that you cheer, a raid, a subscription, a resubscription, all of these things will earn them domain dice. Domain dice can be spent by the players from the pool to re-roll any dice roll and take the new result. They can spend 2 to cause me to re-roll. They can spend 3 to access hit dice outside of normal rest. They can spend 4 to turn a failed death saving throw into a successful one. But if it's a critical failure, it will cost them 8 domain dice. And for 5 domain dice, something we call the Patron's Blessing. Any one of them can turn a hit into a super critical. That is a double max damage critical hit. And that is how they can use those domain dice. But they only get them if you do things like tipping and cheering and subscribing and those kind of things. So keep that in mind as they start going through those domain dice. All right.
Oh, please.
As we continue, the adventurers here were intending to go to the village of Grove, which is Timothy's home in this small forest town, so that they could all experience together the wonderful Heritage Festival, Harvest Festival. But when they arrived, they found that the entire town had become infected and fallen into a deep slumber. Some of the animals had begun behaving strangely. And they eventually stumbled across the sisters that were unaffected within the town, and they were Rose and Grace Crane. And they've solved the mystery of how the town was becoming infected when they realized that Rose and Grace have a magical ever-full teacup that they get all of their water supply from. But everybody else in town gets their water from the same well. They realized they had to investigate the cause of this and climb down into the well, where they have encountered a cantankerous old giant tortoise. They've discovered one of the individuals who was working with the bandits that are helping whoever is involved in this nefarious plot. Though he had enough of this once they rescued him, he had enough of this and said he's going back home. They encountered a rather scattered, and otherwise mentally occupied wizard wizard apprentice who was being attacked by a cloak full of what looked like mink stoles. But a giant mastiff-sized corgi leapt to the rescue and freed them, and thus the party met what has become already one of their most prized partners in this endeavor, the one and only Sir Cheddar, who also has revealed himself in their short time together to be a wild sorcerer. And he's big enough, and Rodney is small enough that Rodney is able to ride on Sir Cheddar's back, making both of them, in fact, all of them, very happy. They have become aware that something was thrown into the water supply by someone, thus poisoning it, and they are growing ever closer to solving this mystery. And when we left off, all of them had made their way through magical or mundane means to the top of the waterfall, where they found a small encampment. And that is where we pick up. As you enter this small cave area, and you find within this little cavern the tent made of animal skins. You find a small fire pit, and you smell the cooking meat, and you see some small animal, perhaps a lizard of some kind, roasting over the fire. And you see a small green-skinned goblin with large floppy ears and large eyes reflecting the firelight, who has just turned to look at you, the smile broadening across their face as they look at you and say, "Visitors!"
Visitors!
Hooray! And who might you be?
Well, my name is called Gibber.
Oh.
I is goblin, yes?
Yes.
Well, we were looking for you.
You? You were looking for Gibber?
Well, yeah.
Why?
Well,
Do I know you?
No, but we met a big tortoise named Frood, and he told us that you were the person we need to talk to.
I like Frood. Why Frood tell you to talk to Gibber?
I was too busy investigating the sword I found. I didn't pay
Found
attention to that
sword.
part.
Ooh.
Jibber, by any chance, might you have
Rude.
information about, strange people doing strange things around here?
There are very strange people do very strange thing in here. For so very long, Gibber live here alone. Well, except for Frood and Old Goot and the occasional little critters. And she kind of points over at the lizard turning on the spit. Little critters is delicious.
Bianca sort of tucks Rocky a little bit further back, so he's hiding behind her hair.
You can't help but notice as her eyes flick over to Rodney when she says little critters is delicious.
At
Not
that
all little
moment,
critters are delicious.
and only at that moment does Rodney realize that there is someone else in the chamber. He has been scratching on Sir Cheddar and very distracted, and is like, just sort of meets Jabber's eyes as they say that little creatures are critters. And say, I don't disagree, I suppose. It's better little than big. It's hard to taste them proper. Who are you?
Gibber.
This is Gibber.
Oh, weren't we looking for him? Have we asked you where the funny people doing the funny things are yet?
We're inquiring about that right now.
Oh,
That's
good,
what we
you've
were-
got it
that's
handled.
why
I'll
we
go
were
back to
asking him.
scratching.
Yes.
They were very noisy. They
What
came
were
in,
they doing exactly?
they sneak in through the caves. They go up
And-
the well. They use a rope. One of them was hurt in the cave. They were not moving. I watch. They do not see me. They never see Gibber.
Tell me, Gibber, did you see them do anything else? Maybe leave some items behind?
I saw one of them drop a sack in the lake. The water is still bad. It was wicked person who do this. Water tastes bad. Yuck!
Did
It
you
needs my
happen?
water. I get it from the cold well in the forest.
Did you happen to see what was in that sack?
Whatever it was very bad.
And where did these people go?
They come into the caves behind Old Goot. I
And
think they go past the big lake and they go out to the forest village. I think they are getting sick there too.
I see.
Oh, well, that's my village. Yeah. Sure, everybody's getting sick there, but we got to help them. That's why we're here.
So who was this Goot, was it?
Oh, Old Goot. Be careful of Old Goot. She a mean one. Likes to play tricks and hurt things. Always mean. She's gotten meaner since the water went bad. I think it's because she lives in bad water.
Oh, well, I get along splendidly with mean people.
Don't know how they did it. But those strange people. They took mushrooms from Old Goot's cave. Mushrooms taste funny. I do not eat them. They make my tongue go all like this. I get very big and I can't talk.
Well, some mushrooms are edible and some are very inedible and some want to eat you instead.
Mushrooms that want to eat you? Oh, I am very thankful to my goblin that they're not eating mushrooms here. Oh, but Old Goot, I don't know how they get mushrooms from Old Goot. Old Goot very mad.
Oh, well, Old Goot, she likes her mushrooms?
Very much. I can show you where, and I can show you where the bad people went. They dropped something else in that lake, too.
Oh, well, gee there, Gibber. That'd be awfully nice of you.
And she kind of looks around at all of you. Oh, did you want to go now?
Well, you could eat your dinner first.
Okay. And she grabs the handle of the spit and just in real quick just starts doing a little bit of work, and all of a sudden the cooked lizard is off the spit, and she has her back to you, and you just hear this sort of and you see a tail go flying and Okay. Dinner done.
Well, that was really impressive there, Miss Gibber.
Oh, my.
I'm sorry. Did you want some?
No,
I mean, I can't help you now, but
no. In fact, I don't think I'll be hungry for a while.
okay. Now listen very carefully. Old Goot is mean. I don't like to say this, but Old Goot is kind of a B word. We have
I've
to
been
be
called that
very-
myself anyways, so good.
We have to
I've
be
been called worse.
very careful and quiet. And
Which
she-
B word?
Rhymes with which, Timothy?
Oh,
Yes, which with a capital B, as my daddy used to say.
She has moved forward towards the back of the cave where you can see that there is an opening. And she turns to all of you and she says, she doesn't say anything. She just goes and motions you all to follow her. And as you move through this cavern,
We going somewhere?
Yes.
We're following the little green one.
you probably notice that, Rodney, as Sir Cheddar just sort of begins loping along behind the rest of the group.
Definitely. Oh, right, we're off.
Don't worry about it. I'll follow
We
them.
finally have a way to wrangle Rodney.
You do whatever it is you're going to do up there. Don't fall asleep. You might fall off.
I can't imagine falling asleep. But tell me, is this spot better or this one?
I like them both, to be honest.
All right, I'll keep trying them both. We'll figure out which one's better eventually.
You're going to have a very difficult time if you're trying to find a place to scratch me that I'm not going to like.
I'll tell you a secret, Sir Cheddar. I already do that. Also, I'll tell you another secret, Sir Cheddar. It's very difficult for me to not speak in your accent by mistake.
There was a point last week where Sir Cheddar answered Teddy and went with that southern lilt for just a couple words. I noticed that too.
We affect
It
each
is
other.
contagious.
Southern
So-
Scotland.
Virginia Burra.
So you follow Gibber, and you begin moving through this cavern passageway, and she kind of points off to the west, and you can see that they're off in the distance. You can see a bit of a bioluminescent glow, and you can hear the soft sound of water lapping against the shore. And she just says, "That big lake and the way to the other forest village. This the way to Old Goot." And after just a few minutes, about 5 to 10 minutes, you find yourself emerging into a good size, probably about 30 by 40 foot grotto. You can see that there are a few large sized purple mushrooms growing around in this grotto. But the mushrooms pale in comparison to the giant stony skinned toad that is perched inside the grotto. Its upper half of its body seems to be just sticking out above. And you can't help but notice that all across its back and its skin, even on its head, there appear to be what almost looks like warts on this frog moving. But upon closer inspection, you realize they're baby rock toads, much like Rocky. And there's about well, at current count, there's 8 of them that are just sort of crawling all around on this giant toad. Shh. I go talk to Old Goot. Wait. What did you want from Old Goot? The mushrooms. You want mushrooms.
No.
No.
We wanted to ask her about these individuals and if she happens to know anything about them.
Knows how to counteract the mushrooms, since that might be what they put in the water.
Well, okay.
Okay.
She motions to you to hold. Then she takes 5 very tiptoe, very quiet steps forward. She looks around. And she begins croaking and chirping and making this horrendous sound, which you immediately begin to hear coming from old goot, this large, but much deeper, this. And back and forth, the two of them carry on. After a moment, Gibber turns to you and says, "Okay, I talked to old Goot. She say a couple of the bad people came in while she asleep and they steal her mushroom. She say they same people that throw bad stuff in lake. She know that people like her mushroom. Some of them like it because that make them feel good. Some of them like it because they mix it into..." And she turns and she just makes a croak sound, and you just hear a deep tincture?
Oh, of course.
Oh, yes, tincture.
Gibber not know this word.
It's like a potion.
Or medicine.
She say if she see them again, she going to swallow them whole.
She's a very sharp cookie.
She said all that with one croak?
She says a lot with very little sound.
Well, this is fascinating. Can she teach us any of this?
Maybe if you come back sometime, Gibber can teach you. I'm very good with languages.
Oh, okay. Could I try it now?
You can certainly try.
Ribbit.
I would like you to roll me a D100.
Have you pissed off old Coot?
I have rolled my
Have you
D100.
said something to old Groot?
I'm going to say that there is a 20% chance that you've insulted
ain't
old
nothing.
Coot.
Are we rolling for the high chance or the low chance?
No.
So as a
Sliding
reminder,
chance,
I use a
remember?
sliding scale.
Yeah.
So I roll my number, and if you're within 10 on either side of that number, then the thing happens.
Well, let's hope it's not anywhere near 16.
I rolled an 87.
Wow.
Thank you.
You actually see what could only be described as a smirk play across the wide mouth of old Goot, and you just get back a... You don't know what old Goot said, but you did not, and you don't know what you said, but you did not offend her.
Doesn't matter. I believe it was a good interaction, and I walk away self-satisfied. I did a good thing.
Theodora turns to BB and just, honestly, he is the sweetest soul that I have ever seen walk the surface of any earth.
Phoebe just sort of nods her head and goes, "Roar," and grins.
I need you to roll a D100.
Oh, come on. The druid has to have some fun with the different languages of the animals.
Yes.
It's a 56.
I rolled a 55.
Excellent.
Said a
Gibber,
lot with that one little word, didn't you?
Gibber, who has to this point had, in my mind, Gibber is like a Pathfinder goblin. So they've got those round heads and those very wide grins. And Gibber has been grinning entirely this time. And when you do that simple croak, BB, Gibber just goes, "We better go now." And you just hear coming from old Goot, and you can see the throat start to swell up. "Unless you want to get swallowed, we better go."
Let's make our exit. BB, what did you do?
Well, clearly it's not in the Louisiana dialect, obviously.
Something got lost in translation.
Obviously.
As we're running out of there, bye, Miss Old Groot.
And you make your way out and begin working back along the passageway. Gibber takes you in the opposite direction of where you had come from her encampment, and you begin moving closer to the sound of water, and you can see the bioluminescence. And you find yourself where did it go? You emerge into just a massive cavern. It's about 80 feet across, and it extends on quite a ways. You can see thick tendrils of roots that sort of work their way out of the cave wall and down into the water. The water is very still, the lake very placid, and it fills the entirety of the cavern except a pathway that is partially covered by many of these thick roots, but it continues on along the western edge. It's about a 10-foot wide ledge on this area, and you can see that that in the distant, probably about maybe 70 or 80 feet along the edge of the lake, this path curves to the west, and you can actually see sunlight just spilling in from outside. I would like all of you to make a perception check.
Perception.
That is a 13.
That is a 12. Oh no, I'm Rodney.
I'm number one.
All right.
You got a 1?
You're all
I'm
very
still thinking
distracted.
about that croak language. It's fascinating how just so much can be contained within that one little croak. And I wonder if there's a somatic component to it as well, that the puffing of the throat and the chest, if it communicates certain things. And
Now,
if-
Timothy, you have been around me long enough to know how much can be said without saying much.
you keep telling me that, but I seem to miss it a lot.
No. Well, that's probably for the best, dear. You might not like me as much if you caught on to everything.
Oh, well, Miss Teddy, I bet you're just swell regardless.
Well, thank you, dear.
Who among you, did anybody among you get 14 or over?
We got 13 as our
No, we did not, Jake. We
Okay.
didn't.
If
No.
we add them together,
I think I heard a 12,
no.
a 12 in there.
And a
13 is the
13?
highest,
And a
and we
13.
I
got
got a 13.
Okay. So you
so
do
collectively
notice.
we got like 30.
You do notice as Gibber sort of brings you to the edge and says, and points in the direction of the sunlight, that take you to Forest Village where people are getting sick. And you would actually know, Timothy, this is not in the direction of Grove. This is pointing toward, and you know, there's other villages that are around the area. You could make me a insight or history check. See if you can figure out what village that might be.
That's a little bit better. I got 21 on that one.
Well, hey, now it's a party.
There we go.
You know, to the north of where Grove is, there is a much larger forest village that is along a bend in the Sludgewater River. That they've set up a pretty good trade town there called Prince's Harbor. So that is most likely where this heads.
Well, everybody, I think if I remember correctly, kind of where we are based on the position of the stars, which I can't really see right now, but the rivers and this is Prince's Harbor that we're coming to.
Well, that sounds
Oh.
charming.
Well, I
Who's the
mean, it's a nice place if you like, river villages that do a lot of fishing and whatnot.
So, is this the other town that was mentioned as also being impacted by this nasty water?
Well, yeah, Miss Gibber, is this the town that you mentioned that was the other forest town?
Yes.
I see.
Have the
Ah.
people who did this made any sort of demands? We've no idea what they want.
No.
It is a bit concerning that they're branching out. It's not just one locale.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It makes me think that it isn't necessarily like personal with someone, it's more of a, well, I don't know what it is.
It's just evil.
I saw one of them. He had a cloak, and he always kept his hood up. I never see face. But he was over here, and she walks over to a small alcove, by the a little ways away from the water's edge. He was mixing things and putting them in a bag, and that's what he threw in the lake, the little lake. And she points back the way that you all came from, where the well descends. He threw that sack in the lake.
I'd like to investigate and see if
All
there are any
Yeah.
items that look like they are not indigenous to this little alcove.
And I'd
Very
like
much
to try
so.
and figure out what the poison is and if there's anything we can do to counteract it.
19?
All right.
I assumed investigation. Sorry.
Yeah. Nope.
I should wait for my
well,
DM.
You're clearly investigating, so yes, it is absolutely an investigation. What you see, when you go over to where Gibber is you see that there is a pile of rotting leather that is heaped into this little niche in the tunnel. And you see it's actually not just a piece of leather. It's several small pieces of leather that at one time, they actually look very much like they would be component pouches of some kind. As you're investigating, you smell a mixture of something very musky. You smell something acidic, but you're catching a variety of substances that were mixed together. Whatever it is, the moisture down here has interacted with it enough that it's nearly impossible to tell what it might have originally been. But it does definitely appears that somebody was mixing components here, put them into this sack that Gibber has mentioned, and that's what was thrown in to poison the water supply.
Well, it looks as though this is indeed the spot where something was mixed up. It looks
He
like
also threw that there, and Gibber points into the water, and you can see that there is in the water, under the water, there is a what looks like a sealed clay pot that has holes in it. It is resting on the bottom of this larger lake, and it's probably about 20 feet below the surface of the water.
Well, my skirt's a flotation devices. Clearly, I can't go in the water for this.
Well, okay. So Timothy begins to take off his armor.
Okay.
Anything that'll hold him down.
Teddy will assist so it goes quicker.
There might be an easier way, my dears. I could turn into a duck
Oh, that's right. You can do that.
or a swan, maybe, more my style.
I think the swan would be lovely.
Aren't
Like a
swans
duck.
dangerous?
Only if you piss us off.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't anger a swan.
Of course, now that I'm saying that, does she have that yet?
Yes.
Yes, she does. Okay, sorry.
you guys all
I
hit- you
I've
all
played
hit-
her at different levels now.
You all hit third level after the last session.
Yes.
My
Just
apologies.
point of note before any decisions are made. This clay pot is probably about 10 inches in diameter and about 18 inches tall.
Oh, so it's sizable.
Yeah. At least as best you can tell through the water. I mean, it's very
Giant tortoise. You could grab it in your mouth.
Timothy starts doing warm-ups, just air squats,
clear. Actually,
just getting limber.
can you not? You can't turn into anything with a fly or swim speed right now, can you?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was like.
Speed
I don't know.
isn't
If I can.
Yeah, that's later. I was just thinking about
That's-
that.
Yeah.
As you're
I was
mentioning
like, that's
water,
what I need to
mentioning
check.
waterfowl. They can't do either of those. They can do both of those
Well.
things.
So I have a rope.
All right. Well, if you want to give me that rope, I'm gonna again doing squats, warm-ups, jumping jacks, just getting ready for this. I'm gonna take a 20-foot dive. All right.
Get it tied
Wait,
around his
Timothy,
waist.
do you know how to swim?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Proceed.
All right, so you've tied the rope.
And the Pinot comes out of nowhere.
You've tied the rope around your waist, and do you dive in?
Oh, it's such a glorious dive. I try so hard to look so graceful as I do as I dive in.
I'm so glad you said that. Roll an athletics check.
I try so hard to look
Let's see how good this dive looks.
really hoping it wasn't going to land on that side.
But
It was
did.
so close to something good. Instead,
Oh,
it was a
no.
modified 6.
Belly
Very,
flop.
very unlike Greg Louganis in the 19 Olympics. You you attempt to do a graceful dive, but as you've stepped in just a little bit into the water, it's gravelly, and your feet slip, and you make a very ungraceful splash into the water. You don't get hurt or anything, but maybe your pride,
Ow! Oh! Ow! Pointy!
and you're able to begin take a deep breath and swim down the 20 feet. I would like all of you to make a perception check, and Timothy, you will be doing so at disadvantage.
Oh no. What is with the rolls tonight?
I think the dice like us to tell a different story than what we're hoping.
They definitely would not like me to tell the story I want to tell. That's a 4 total.
8.
At 8, what did you get? What'd you get, Teddy?
A 4 total. I rolled a 1.
Rodney?
8.
Go ahead and roll for Sir Cheddar.
Oh, yes.
Sir Cheddar has a...
Oh, well, Sir Cheddar got a 19, so...
Of course, Sir Cheddar
So
did.
Sir Cheddar has I believe a 21 then.
Oh, good
to
lord.
his
perception's
perception.
better than mine.
Yeah.
Your cheddar's
A
better
lot of
than
his things are better than
everybody
mine.
else.
Yeah.
I got a 19 with my perception. Oh, wait, no. That'd be a 21. She's mathing. 15 plus 6. Yeah.
And I heard from Timothy through underwater speak. I heard teen, but I didn't hear what teen.
I got a 15.
Okay. So I'm going to just see here. Let's see. And Sir Cheddar got a 21, we said, right?
Uh-huh.
And a 19. Okay. They all fail.
What?
I was
Oh, I don't feel so bad about my 8 then.
I got lucky. I got a 22 on the stealth check.
No.
So we are going to roll for initiative and reveal why as we go through this. So let's see. Let's go. We got Sir Cheddar in here.
Actually works.
And I'm thinking. Let me check something real quick. Will you guys do that? I'm going to real quick because this is definitely going to make it easier for me. I'm going to take a couple of screenshots because it's on 2 separate pages here.
Yep.
And I'm going to drop them in our chat.
Okay.
So you can just take over Sir Cheddar for me, Eugenio.
You got it.
So here's the first block, and then the bulk of Sir Cheddar stuff will be on the next page.
Okay, great. Got it.
Wow, I need to go a little bigger here.
Got it.
The page.
He's such a strong boy. Let's see. Well, he's not very strong, but that's all right. He's stronger than
He's
me, but
the
that's a low
goodest
bar.
boy.
He's the goodest boy.
And yeah,
Oh. Okay.
and just ignore the.
Uh-huh. I saw something I'm just gonna ignore already.
Oh boy. No spoilers.
Whoops.
Nope.
It's his vampire stats.
Right.
I don't
You know,
sunlight
that adds
sensitivity, but
up.
don't tell them.
Of course that would
All
come
right, there
into
you go.
play.
Just ignore the paragraph in the lower right. It's not relevant to Sir Cheddar. It's part of something
Great.
else. So,
No necesito.
but I mean, should all be pretty standard for you anyway, since you're the same.
Stop
class.
it. We have the same meta magic.
Really?
Yes.
Sir Cheddar was perfectly matched. Love it.
It was meant to be.
All
It
right.
was.
Was.
So, what we need to find out then is
Sheds.
I need to roll. Let's see. That's gonna be.
Oh, that's very delicious.
Okay, BB, what'd you get?
I got a 17.
Teddy,
6.
Timothy,
Shocking no one,
Oh no.
as Timothy is underwater and swimming down gleefully.
Mhm.
Got a 4.
all right. Rodney,
17?
Sir Cheddar.
16.
Okay,
Okay.
so I got the highest initiative roll.
Of course you did.
And in second place is both BB and Rodney. So the two of you can decide amongst yourselves. Sir Cheddar will be third, Teddy will be fourth, and Timothy will be fifth. Gibber will not be participating because Gibber is going to be cowering in fear. So, Timothy, we're going to find out. Well, you got lucky there. What is your AC without your armor?
Oh, currently wearing nothing, no armor, no shield. 11.
Oh, hey now.
Still, a 7 does not hit you. As you all notice that, or rather, actually, you didn't notice anything initially. I think what you see is as this happens, it creates a disturbance in the water that Timothy still doesn't notice. As the rest of you notice the ripples moving across the surface from where all of these vines come out of the wall, along the wall down into the water. As they begin peeling away from the wall, you realize they're not vines, and you hear the sort of staccato sound of multiple suction cups pulling away from rock. They are, in fact, tentacles.
Oh, no.
Hmm.
And some of them have dipped below the surface, and one of them has just reached out and attempted to strike and grab at Timothy below the surface.
Gibber still with us?
Gibber
Gibber's
is
hiding.
is basically cowering.
I just want Gibber, is this your friend?
Not a friend, not a friend, not a friend.
Tentacles are my specialty.
BB and Rodney.
BB, you go on ahead because I'm gonna have to wait for Sir Cheddar. to
Okay,
move
you
in
said
on me.
there's some of the tentacles above water, right?
Yes.
Oh,
We'll say
well.
that there's about half of them are above water.
Okay, well now they're playing with fire. She's gonna spark her fingers together, and there's this flash of green light, and then there's this green flame that is swirling
Green
and twirling
flame.
in her hand. And she goes to throw her produced flame at one of the tentacles above the water. And that is going to be a 14 to hit. She says.
That is going to hit.
Oh, cool. Okay, so that is 6 fire.
All right. And you see sort of a larger ripple in the water as the tentacle recoils. And you, because of the way it moves and the clarity of the water, it is very easy for all of you to see that these tentacles are attached to a giant octopus.
Anyone in the mood for calamari, preferably fried?
Oh.
And Rodney, then you are up.
So now that we have seen that it's giant Octo, Rodney is going, oh boy. Rodney's gonna hold his action until Timothy hopefully gets out of the water. How far away is Timothy? How far down is Timothy?
Timothy,
I'm guessing about 6 feet under at this point.
Timothy, your movement speed is 30, yeah?
Yes.
So you would be able to swim at half of your movement speed. So that would put you 15 feet below the surface. So you're still 5 feet away from the jar. Just for
Oh,
reference
you're
sake.
still gonna get the jar.
I
Interesting thing
came
that
to
I
get
just
the jar.
noticed is that all of my spells do lightning damage.
Well, now.
That's not entirely
Well,
true.
now.
I have one spell that doesn't. I will use that one. So in that case, Rodney will grab Pip off of his shoulder and say, "All right, Pip, it's time." And he'll sort of pet Pip, and then he will say some magic words and sort of point Pip at the direction of this tentacle. And Pip's mouth will, just like a creepy Chuck E. Cheese automaton, will just drop open, and a swarm of black flies are going to pour out of my Clockwork Chinchilla's mouth and head for the tentacle. This is the infestation cantrip, and I need the creature to make a Constitution saving throw.
I know what I'm going to have nightmares about tonight.
Phoebe is completely unfazed when this happens. She's gotten so used to Rodney and Pip's antics. She's like,
You just hear Gibber with a giant grin on her face say, "Terrific." Let's see. For con, that is going to be a 10.
I know.
Ooh, it worked. Okay. So the creature will take 3, I believe it's poison damage for this one. Oh, yes. It takes 3 poison damage, and I need to roll a d4. I don't really know how this is going to play out in the pool. This should be fun. It moves 5 feet to the east as it tries to get away from these biting mites and fleas.
That puts it 5 feet closer to Timothy.
Just worried about that.
Dear.
So what you would all see is you almost hear this whipping sound as the remaining tentacles just sort of and draw into the water as the creature just sort of pulls from where it was resting quietly and moves that much closer. Give me a perception check, Timothy.
15.
You feel a surge in the water as you just feel this sort of like, you know how it is when you're in the water and somebody jumps in, you can tell. You feel a large movement of water. And if you were to glance to your left, you will see a very large yellow eye looking at you, attached to an even larger sort of greenish colored creature. You might be a bit too close to identify it, but
Is it whose turn is it?
well, it's Sir Cheddar's turn at the moment.
Yes, it is.
Cheddar makes it better.
I think I know what Sir Cheddar is gonna do. How does Sir Cheddar cast his spell? I mean, we saw him Dimension. Well, I saw him Dimension Door. But like, does he do anything?
Sir Cheddar has he has his battered wizard's hat perched on his head, and he has his red tartan cloak. So I will say that he gleefully casts whatever it is. So
Great. So Sir Cheddar is going to, waggle his tail and do whatever it is that he does to cast spells. And we need the creature to make another Constitution saving throw.
That's going to be a 14.
Well, it's a good thing Sir Cheddar's a better spellcaster than I am, then, isn't it? So Sir Cheddar casts Enlarge Reduce upon this giant octopus and reduces it to, well, I don't know if normal octopus size, but smaller size.
Fishy size.
Right, Rodney, watch carefully. I find that when faced with a large problem, it helps to make it easier to deal with. And he gives you a wink, and his little corgi nose sort of waggles, and there he casts the spell, and you all watch, including you underwater, Timothy, as the giant octopus now becomes octopus-sized. And I'll have to look. I'll bring up the spell because I know there's some mechanical changes to what it does.
Yeah, it's just so it's one size category smaller, and anytime it attacks with strength weapons of any sort, or it attacks with strength as its modifier, it deals 1d4 less damage.
Okay, so it is no longer large. It is now a medium-sized octopus.
Still pretty.
So
big.
it's still bigger than me.
Yeah, it's still
Because
And Teddy, it is now your turn.
I bet you tell all the girls those tentacles are average size, don't you? Vicious mockery.
Oh.
That's a wisdom save.
Right after it just got reduced.
The water's
is
cold,
indeed
Teddy.
vicious
Come
mockery.
on.
We are good.
I love this.
Wow. What's the
14.
And it was wisdom?
Yes.
That's an 18.
Oh!
It is very confident in the size and use of its tentacles.
Aren't they?
I've seen more impressive on a squid.
Timothy, it is your turn.
All right. So all I know is I've been swimming along trying to get to this big old teapot down at the bottom of the lake there, and I just saw a big herkin yellow eye and a size changing octopus, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. So from up above, you just see a big air bubble of "Ah!" And as a just reaction, Timothy gets down, hides behind the pot as much as he can, that he can, but just second level guiding bolt in a panic. Yeah. And 21 radiant damage. What do I got to hit the thing too? Oh, does a 14 hit?
It does.
21 radiant damage.
Nice.
Ooh. Timothy
All right.
is not messing around.
No.
Timothy panicked.
And for better or worse, Timothy, as you cast this guiding bolt and it strikes into this giant octopus, or rather now just octopus, you get a good look at the thing illuminated by your guiding bolt. In fact, everybody can now see it, as for the moment, it is completely haloed in this light, this radiant energy. And it is now its turn. Are you going to do any movement?
Well, I'm going to try and get out of there.
Okay. You
Well,
do have enough movement. You can swim back to the surface if you choose.
Well, no, I can't because I went down to the bottom to hide behind the teapot.
Hug it.
Oh. That's right. Well, you can grab that and you can make it 10 more
get
feet
10
up.
more feet back up,
Okay.
halfway up.
So you're halfway
Okay.
up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I still, yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. There's the rope.
Yeah, I was about to ask if we'd tied the rope around him.
Yes.
I did.
You tied the rope good. You think
mean,
you
I
want to
could-
leave Timothy unsupervised?
Heck no. It's like the toddler leash thing.
It's like freaking Mindy and Buttons from Animaniacs. My God.
No, that's Rodney and Sir Cheddar.
And just as quickly as you could see it illuminated by your radiant attack, everything goes dark as
No.
all around the ink ink. The octopus, a cloud of ink, shoots out and forms a cloud. 20-foot radius, so most of this side of the lake becomes heavily obscured. You can no longer see which way is up. You can no longer see the octopus. None of you can see the octopus. It has become completely shrouded in ink. So it is now Phoebe and Rodney's turn.
Well, I'm going to start pulling on a rope. Hand over hand. Heave ho, there we go. Bring the boy back above.
I'm not going to make you make a roll for that since he's already swimming in that direction. You just begin pulling on that, and it's only 10 feet. So after just a moment, suddenly, Timothy, you feel this pull against the rope around your waist, and sort of a little bit of this ink sort of stains your face a bit as you emerge from this ink clouded water to the surface, and you've successfully pulled him up, BB.
Timothy, dear, it's time to get out of the water.
I feel like pasta.
You look like a certain type of sauce.
Timothy, are you all right?
Well, there was a size changing octopus in there, and then I hit it with some magic, and then everything got all black, and now I'm up above again.
It was very impressive.
Well, thank you.
One of us
You're
hit
muted,
with
honey.
magic. We are a very sort of one note party in that way.
Rodney,
we
is
all
there anything
threw
you wanna
spells at
do?
it.
What I want to get out of the water is what I want to do, and then I run as quickly as I can, and I pick up my mace and my shield, even though I'm not wearing armor. It's at least something.
Rodney, it's your turn. Will you be doing
Is it?
anything?
I think Sir Cheddar and I will just sort of, now that Rodney is out, we'll just sort of back away. If the octopus really wants to come on land and play, it can, but no need to.
The
no.
10-foot wide path along the western edge of the lake leading to the sunlit passage is now free and clear. It was previously blocked by what turned out to be tentacles.
Great.
Um,
Yeah.
Is the thing still in the water?
Oh, right.
Is it within 60 feet?
is what thing?
The octopus.
Oh, that
Well,
wasn't my question, but also a good question.
Timothy
I thought I
brought
got
the
the teapot.
Timothy brought the vase, the clay pot up.
Yeah, yeah.
The octopus. Let's see. Give me a perception check.
Which one of us? All of us?
18.
Yeah, you can all make it if you want.
I don't actually need to see it. I just
12?
need to know if it's within 60 feet.
17.
I need to check. This is relevant because I need to check the size of this lake.
Oh dear.
Well,
It might have tried to run away. I think we disturbed.
Does it have a swim
more
speed
than
of
anything.
60?
it does, but because as part of its ink cloud, it can dash.
Got it.
Oh.
That's-
Is gone.
So
It
I'm
said
going to
bye.
say it is outside of that range. Let me check its, what was its stealth check?
Can I move
Was-
to get within range?
What was your perception?
Mine was an 18.
Because of the way this lake is, it basically moved itself to the far edge, but if you move along that passageway along the left, you'd be able to sort of come along the oblong, it's sort of odd-shaped lake. Excuse me. And you'd be able to put yourself within 50 feet of it
Theodora
without
just
going in
sort
the
of.
water.
You and Sir Cheddar aren't doing anything, right?
I think we're happy to let it go.
Okay. Theodora just kind of stalks down the lake, and as she gets to where she feels like she's within enough room, She's going to cast Dissident Whispers.
Mm-hmm.
No one messes with Timothy Augustus and walks away.
And I need a wisdom saving throw.
Sounded like Louise Mandrell, and it was amazing.
Sure.
That's a 16 on the die,
That passes.
which
That's still half damage. That's all right.
would be a
Yeah.
16 total. Just as a reminder, because I know all of you except for V are new to this, 2 domain dice can cause me to re-roll any
We
die.
do have to use those eventually.
Yeah, I do
I
want to
think we
use
should
one.
totally
Let's do
use
it.
Yeah, why
Okay.
not? You will use 2. Yeah,
We
why not?
did get
Yeah,
a
2.
new one, or rather, you got a new one from D&D Jordan, who gifted a
Oh.
tier 1 sub. So thank you for that, Jordan. So I'll go ahead and re-roll that, taking the new roll, which is a 2.
That will fail. And it is going to take 16 psychic damage, and it has to move as far away from me as it can.
You, whether or not you, the characters have seen this before, will determine how shocking this is. But I'm sure all of you know that octopuses are capable of moving through incredibly small spaces.
Mhm.
And after your whisper, your dissonant whisper carries across the surface of the water, you, for all you can tell, this thing just disappeared into a crack in the rocks, in as far away from you as it could possibly get.
That's right.
And you
run away.
are out of combat. I'll also say, since it has left the battlefield, you took it to 2 hit points. Yeah, if you'd gotten
Nice.
2 more hit points, you would have just killed it right there in the water.
Nice.
Oh, I wanted to
Oh.
play Whack-A-Tentacle.
Freezing!
You
Maybe
are
next time.
out of combat. You are now standing with sort of like an edge light in sunlight as it's coming in from this new cave. Timothy is standing there in his small clothes, apparently, and well, I'm assuming you wear more than just your underwear under your armor, I guess.
Oh yeah, I got my Psychomancer
But-
vestments and
you are out of combat, and that is a great place for us to take a break before we move on to the second half of this adventure. Thank you, everybody who has tuned in so far. Thank you for the gift subs and everything, contributing to the domain dice. Keep those coming. We're going to take no more than a 10-minute break, and we will see you on the other side.
guess now.
And
Yes.
we're back. And
Hello.
I'm gonna toss a domain die up there because the Games Tavern has raided us. Welcome, the Games Tavern. Our friend Dwight the Big Bearded Nerd had recently done a guest stint with Call of Cthulhu for a few weeks over on the Games Tavern. And we've gotten to know them a little bit over there. And they're a wonderful group of streamers with some cool stuff going on. So I learned this. I first saw this command from Eugenio from being on his channel. Oh. And so I've added it to my own commands. See if I do it right again.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. The shout out command.
Yeah.
So it's such a wonderful way to be able to shout out others in the community. So be sure to check them out. So you do have another domain die. We are going to do a slight time jump by what we'll say. We're going to go ahead, since you've had a bit of this. If you need it, you can count it as a short rest.
Ooh.
Because though you saw the sunlight through the cavern exit, you've had to walk for a little ways through forest, along a forest path. It's very light walking, and we'll go ahead and we'll say that you were able to take a short rest. So if you have any short rest features you want to use, or use any hit dice if you need them, go ahead and do that. We are going to pick up. We'll say that you were able to also bid a farewell, leave on good terms with Gibber, who was very eager to get back to her own encampment. But she did tell you, please feel free to stop by any time and say hi. So you have another friend in
Gibber, dear, before you go,
Gibber.
And I'm going to hand her a little thing of rations.
Oh.
Okay.
Perhaps something to dine on as an alternative.
Her eyes just get really wide.
Go on now.
Nobody's ever given Gibber anything.
Yeah. It's the first time for everything.
She's Dobby.
As the words are coming out of my mouth, I'm like, you'll give Gibber a sock?
Oh.
Dobby!
Oh, man. So, yes, you have definitely made a friend in Gibber. So, you are traveling along this forest path, and wait 1 second. I'm jumping between the printed hard soft cover of the module and the PDF because it helps me with the maps and everything. Here we go.
As a very important question.
Yes.
Have I dried off?
Oh.
Am I still covered in squid ink? And are my vestments suddenly... Do I look like a really angsty goth psychomancer?
Yes,
You know?
is the answer to that. Unless somebody has prestidigitated it away. Everything that was white has taken on a grayish tone. Everything is now subdued or muted tones in your wardrobe. And you definitely have some of the squid ink seem to sort of settle in around your eyes and maybe even dribbled down a little bit. So you have these sort of dark, almost like...
Timothy, you look like a raccoon.
Boy, everybody look at me. I'm all intimidating now. Rah! Rah!
I mean, it's literal grit, but every little bit helps.
Ooh, look at me. I just look really mean and really vicious and like I'm troubled and like some of the kids I went to school with.
Some of the kids that you work with now.
That's right. At the boarding school, and look at me. I'm mean.
You look like little Augustus. Not to be confused with you, but you know.
Well, I was little Augustus.
No,
at one
I'm talking
point.
about the kid back at the
Oh,
school.
that little Augustus. Boy, he's just misunderstood.
That's one way to put it.
I mean, those fires he started, he really did. He learned from an early age to be a just a self-sufficient starter. He just took extra word to that starter thing.
Yes, he did.
As you're all walking along and talking, go ahead and make me a perception check. That will be at advantage for Sir Cheddar.
Oh.
17.
15 for Sir Cheddar and 12 for Rodney.
Timothy's apparently not perceiving anything, I'm guessing.
Oh, I'm trying to be intimidating. Look at me. Rawr.
I'm very distracted by Timothy's
Phoebe, Miss
amazing
Phoebe, aren't you
prowess.
intimidated? Her.
That's lovely, dear.
I got an 8.
BB,
Oh,
what'd
that's
you get?
better than me. I rolled a
17.
4.
Oh my.
I got a 17 for BB.
So BB, as everybody's just sort of casually, Timothy's enjoying his new intimidation factor, and everybody seems distracted. You're walking along this forest path when you pass by an area of where there's these hedges along. Some of the foliage just seems to be deliberately formed into hedges. There's a little bit of a rock formation, and you just happen to glance off to the side, and you see between where the hedges are and this rock formation, there's a little bit of a gap, and you actually see that there's a cottage in that space.
Timothy, dear, while you're enjoying a new war paint, do you know who might be living in that cottage over there, my dear?
Do I have any idea how familiar am I with Princess Harbor?
Princess Harbor is probably about a total of 10 miles to the north by normal roadways. So you've shortened that distance quite a bit traveling underground and through this particular forest path, but it's a good 10 miles to the north. And you maybe have gone into Princess Harbor a couple times in the past, enough to know that it's a larger town, but probably not enough that you would know anybody in particular there, let alone somebody having living secluded in the woods.
Well, the one time I went to Princess Harbor, in my adult life, we took the path through the town, and they have some lovely shops there, and we met all sorts of people, and wonderful. They were very friendly, and it's such a big town compared to Grove, but not as such. No.
Well, then, maybe we should take a look in there first and see what the state of this village might be.
Probably
On a
a good
smaller
idea to
scale.
make sure there's no one unconscious in there.
That's sort of what I'm thinking. So BB
Hope
will
I don't
start
frighten
walking
her.
up.
What you see as you move closer to this, and you're able to kind of move through the position of the hedges. These hedges seem to have been deliberately grown in such a way as to make it very difficult to directly find or see this cottage. But now that you know it's there, you're able to make your way between the spaces to the cottage itself. We'll find out what the cottage looks like as we take a step back and retcon a little bit, as we're all suddenly realizing nobody looked at the jar that Timothy risked his life for
yeah.
in the lake.
I needed to move forward.
What's
so I
the
didn't
jar?
interrupt. I figured it would come up when it mattered.
No,
What's in the jar?
that is definitely worth taking a step back. We'll say that
Okay, great.
after you, at whatever point you were able to investigate the jar.
And if Sir Cheddar needs to, he can apparently cast Identify. So,
This dog is the best of us.
truly, I just
I love cheddar.
gonna save us all. Also, everyone, while Jake is looking this up, all of us but me are wearing some sort of armor. Yes.
No.
Oh, okay, great.
Well,
Well, I put mine back on, and it's all musty and gray and intimidating. See, rah!
so
Great.
I mean, does mage armor count? Because if so, then yes.
Okay, great. Yes.
So, I will say, since it was during this period of rest and everything, you're able to take your time with it, look it over, and what you find is the residue, mostly diluted and dissipated, of whatever, and based on Teddy's previous investigation of the components that were mixed in that little alcove. This has similar properties. You smell a little bit of that acidic nature. You are able to, with a high level of confidence, deduce that whatever was in this jar with the holes in it is whatever was put in the bag and is or was the source of the poison that was poisoning the water supply and ultimately led to Grove being poisoned. You are also able to determine, based on how diluted it is, that it is highly likely that within another week or so, whatever was contaminating the water, if it's not added to, will no longer be a threat and the water will once again be safe.
We saved the town in a week.
We need to find the people who did this before we can say we saved them.
We've temporarily abated the issue.
They're probably going to come back and redose the water.
So shouldn't we like maybe what's it called? Stake it out? This is why we're friends.
Indeed.
That was chilling.
That was very chilling.
Meta moment. This is what we do all the time.
Sneezy and Snoo are on the case.
Absolutely terrifying.
It is so incredibly difficult to intentionally speak in unison over Zoom.
No.
So the fact that you two just did that was
is common
absolutely
practice.
incredible.
Yeah, no, this is us.
But if we stick around in the cave and stake it out, could we make friends with the octopus?
I don't think
we should
he's
go
gonna
and
be
check on
amenable.
this. I think
But
we should
if
go
we
check on the
but we could
town.
stake it out, and then we could save the town that way by catching whoever did this in the first place, because we took out their poison, and they're going to obviously notice in a week's time that the poison's not there and it's not working anymore. And so we just got to hang out in the cave and learn to talk to the octopus.
Well, we can also get some things figured out first and just keep checking back.
Plus, we don't know the state of the people in this town, and
That's
some
true.
of them might be in very dire positions that they can't wait a week to be freed from.
That's very true. Let's go save the town.
The other one. Well, both of them,
Also,
really.
We've
Both
got
of them,
6 more
and
episodes after this, so
and
we've
with
got
the-
to keep going.
I try and look heroic.
Darling.
With this retcon, we'll also say that Gibber has agreed to keep an extra close eye out for if anybody returns.
For sure, trust Jibber's eyes.
And that she will come find you if she's
And I gave a
able
goblin
to.
food. She is our best friend
Yep.
now.
It's true.
Yes.
It's fair. Good point.
Absolutely.
Oh, we certainly like Miss Gibber.
I speak from experience.
Which now takes us back to back to current time,
Rawr.
as you are squeezing through the hedges,
Ark.
and what you see is there is what looks to be a 40-foot square cottage, most likely a single room cottage. There's the hedges all around the edge. There's a bit of a green belt that moves between the hedge and the cottage itself. You can see that there is a place where firewood is regularly split and stacked. There's what appears to be a kiln for firing clay outside here. And there's a couple of shrubs that are on either side of the door, and a small well. This is everything you can see from the exterior. What would you like to do?
Walk up to the door and knock on it.
Well, I think that maybe Miss Beebe should be the one to knock on account of you and me looking so scary.
Well, I certainly don't
Oh,
mind.
thank you, Timothy.
Yeah, baby will rap nicely upon the door, like little, use that knuckle tap, tap, tap.
There is no answer.
Hello? You have some visitors? I honestly don't know if this is common practice, but at
No,
least
just
it's...
open the door and walk in.
Oh, fine. And she'll go to open the door.
Do that back
Oh,
in
my.
Grove because people were not feeling well.
The
Is
door
it
is
locked?
locked.
Well, we might have a little bit of a pickle.
I'm going to go to the window and look in through a window.
Okay. Peering in through the window, you can see that it is indeed a single room cottage. You can see that there is a small cooking space. You actually appear, the side that you're looking in, it looks like you, right in front of this window, there's some sort of an alchemy table, with right next to it a growing table. You can see small pots with plants and seedlings in them. There's a sleeping area in here. There's a larger table in the middle. You can see about a half a dozen basket-sized metal cages hanging from the ceiling, from the rafters. You can see that where the door is from inside, but you do not see anybody moving around in there or any signs of activity.
Nobody home, it appears, but I do see what looks to be an alchemical station.
When you say cages, basket-sized cages, can she see into them, and is there anything in them?
Ooh.
From out here, it is difficult to tell.
Okay.
They also have cages in there.
I just had a very like Hocus Pocus Sanderson Sisters
Right?
house vibe, and I was like, "What are we?"
How tight is that door, Jake? Like the spacing in the door jam?
This cottage appears to be well maintained. I mean, but it's still a cottage, so I'd say there's probably like a gap around the bottom of the door, maybe a half inch.
Could a little mouse skitter under?
I think that's fair.
All right, baby's gonna sigh. All right, just wait here and I'll let us all in.
Oh, you are such a dear.
And
Do I
she
get
will.
the sense that you're about to change?
Yes. So she kind of just twitches her wrist quickly, and this green and black mist begins to swirl around her, and it envelops her entire body. And then, as the mist dissipates, there is this little black mouse sitting there on its hind legs, sort of running its little mousy fingers together before it squeaks a couple times at each of you and skitters under the door.
Timothy, why were you covering your eyes?
Well, I thought we shouldn't look when a lady's changing.
You are a dear soul.
Oh,
All right, so yeah, you are able to do so, and you find yourself inside this. Of course, to you, it looks incredibly large. Are you immediately changing, or are you staying in your mouse form for a little bit? What are you doing?
Staying in the mouse form a little bit to sort of skitter around and look to see, check out the cages, run across the table, see if she can see it, or if there's anyone or anybody sleeping type of thing.
Go ahead and I'm not even going to make you make an investigation check because you're a mouse. You're able to skitter up walls into the rafter. You can pretty much get where you want in this place. It takes you a few minutes looking around. So I will say, while you are looking around, before I tell you what you find, what are the rest of you doing while you're outside?
Rawr!
A little more roar. A little more good. There you go. Now, don't smile when you're doing it.
Oh.
No, dear. You gotta really mean it.
For the record and for the meta, Timothy has an intimidation of -1.
That is fantastic.
oh,
That is
Very
fantastic.
Theodora has an intimidation of +6. No, no, I'm not believing it. Rodney, help me out here.
Did you see that? How about, have you ever had an eyeball appear in your forehead? What's that, Theodora? Sorry, so Ched and I are comparing magical notes of things that we have intentionally done with our magic. What?
What an interesting way to phrase that. No, I was just trying to help Timothy figure out how to be intimidating. And he keeps smiling. But not in a menacing, creepy way like I do. Not in that dead-eyed way.
I don't rightly think I've ever really seen Timothy ever sort of not smile, at least for more than like, I don't know, 5-10 seconds or so.
I know.
Maybe we get him a mask or like a bag or something. Bags, it's like an executioner hood. It's very intimidating.
Oh yes, that could work.
Oh, that'd be my warrior name. I'd be the executioner.
No, you wouldn't, dear.
I don't know about that, but
I'd be the general helper.
Well, that's more like it, but less intimidating. Let's find a happy medium.
Yes.
Maybe it's
The
like
napping jailer.
I feel like we've sort of lost the.
Meanwhile,
lost the thread here.
BB, you hear this conversation carrying on outside the door as you are clambering around the rafters, investigating these cages, which you do find, for better or worse, to all be empty. The bed is also empty. This entire cottage does not, while it does seem to be kept up that somebody is in here with regular with regularity, they're not here now. You do also notice as you're clambering along the rafters looking down on the scene that there is this alchemical table. There is a set of scrolls with a jar of ink and a pen sitting there, and there is much scribbling across these scrolls on this table. You can see that there are also there's a small crate that is filled with dead plant seedlings in small pots of dried soil with leaves that are wilted and look like they would crumble at a touch.
All right. And was there an obvious key in the door or near the door so I know I can unlock it?
There is a latch that looks like it was probably triggered by a key, but there's no actual key in there. But you look like you could probably, it looks like you could manipulate it.
Okay. So then I will turn back into, well, not up in the rafters. I will skitter my little furry long-tailed self down and in front of the door, turn myself back into human form and open the door for everyone. And I have a feeling it's right as Timothy is trying to do another roar.
Trying not to giggle this time.
So as you open the door, Timothy just at the door, now in your face, does one of these.
Oh, good heavens.
And
I did it!
in that exact moment, the two shrubs on either side of the door lurch also in a eerily similar manner to Timothy towards you. And I need you all to roll for initiative.
Of course. Oh, it's not so
hey.
good. Oh, what'd I do?
Right. Where's my dice?
9.
This is unreal.
Darling.
Did you get 11
Well,
again?
I did, and so did Sir Cheddar.
Stop! We're back to 11 land?
Love it.
Okay.
Is it the same die?
No, one of them is a digital die, and I have tried 4 different sizes of D20s.
Okay, yeah, no. See, on your Twitter profile, you just need to put this one goes to 11.
This one goes to 11.
You know
Which
what?
is great, except that I play D&D, so it's pretty middling.
Oh. But still.
All right. BB, what'd you get?
I got a 9.
Teddy?
Dirty 20.
Timothy?
13.
11s for Rodney and Cheddar?
Uh-huh.
Oh my. Okay, Teddy, you are going to be first. My bushes are going to be second.
Right?
That finger, though.
We're all 13 years old.
Yep, I know what I said.
It's fine. It's absolutely fine.
I say what I said. I'm going to accept it.
Oh.
Third place, going third, will be Timothy. Followed by
Gracious.
Rodney and Sir Cheddar, and bringing up last will be BB. So, moving on to Eddie. What would you like to do? It is very obvious that as threatening as bushes can look, these are very threatening.
I'm getting really sick of the vegetation around here being a problem, and I'm going to cast Eldritch Blast.
Just phrasing all over the place here.
And that is a natty 20.
Okay, there you go. So the way I do critical hits is automatic max damage, then roll any damage dice on top of that. This episode is not sponsored by whatever that trimmer is I keep seeing advertised all the time. The Manscaper.
That's going to be 20 points of damage.
Oh my.
Dang.
I rolled a 6.
Oh.
Wow. Okay. So, and what was your what are you attacking with? What is your attack?
It's Oh, I'm sorry. It's just a beam of crackling energy. I'm not understanding the question.
You were Eldritch blasting. Is that what you were doing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I must have missed it when you said that.
Yes. No,
I didn't.
yeah,
That's what I didn't know. I'm like, yeah, you attacked it, you hit it, you
Yeah. Okay.
crit, but what is it?
Yeah. No, it was an Eldritch Blast.
Okay. Nope, not gonna say that. See, I'm learning.
It's their
I'll tell you
turn.
off air what I was gonna say. Uh,
I can think of so many things.
it was probably one of those.
I mean,
So it is going to be my foliage that goes next.
There you go.
I don't think that's better.
I think-
Since you struck one of these, just to avoid the further issues, I'm just going to say what they are actually called. These are shambling piles.
Oh.
Not helping. Not helping.
because
I mean,
problem is not only
if
are
I
we
called them by their
13 years
larger
old-
counterpart, they would be shambling mounds, and we're still in trouble.
Yeah, there's no winning with us because we're 13-year-olds who also have like bigger vocabularies than we
Yes.
should. So you can't win.
I attack
and-
with the shrubbery. Teddy, you are getting attacked by one of these shrubs. It is
vegetation.
you actually see that it takes a lot. You actually sear and singe a lot of the branches and leaves on this thing. But it seems to harness some of that energy, and you see electricity crackle along the branches, and
Uh-oh.
it uses its heart spark.
Uh-oh.
Does a 13 hit you, Teddy?
13 just hits.
Oh, no.
So electric. Good Lord, I can talk. Lightning, electricity, lightning. I'm all in a flutter. You get 5. Oh wait, that's 2d6. You get 8 points of lightning damage
Ooh.
from this one, and the other one is going to slam or attempt to slam itself into Teddy for a 18 to hit.
That will hit.
Sorry, Teddy. You take 5 points of lightning damage. It's 2d6 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
for not you, but for Timothy, who gets 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
Wait, what'd they roll to hit me?
An 18.
Crud.
So you take 8 points of bludgeoning damage, and
Says you.
the branches and leaves wrap themselves and entangle themselves around you, and you are grappled. And it is now your turn, Timothy.
I mean, is just shouting out no an acceptable defense against the DM? Okay. Well, what we're gonna do then is, how enveloped am I? I've got my shield. Do I have enough capacity to wiggle my fingers in a, let's say, magical manner?
I will say that you are entangled enough that it's difficult to, if you were to attempt to make a melee weapon attack against it, but yes, you would be able to make a spell casting.
Oh, okay. So these highly flammable plant-like creatures could maybe be attacked by Sacred Flame.
Very much so.
Well, let's just do that.
Wait, on the one you're not wrapped up in?
Yes. Yes. Yes, the one that doesn't cause me to be on fire. I do that.
Better in a minute.
So, that is a 9 dexterity save versus that. Or was
that's a... Oh, I get the full D8. I mean, that's really not much damage, but
Oh God.
it's a cantrip. I mean, I can't expect that much.
No, my brain just went very
Yeah, no, I'm
trail.
not-
I did, but I did 7 points of
Alright.
cantrip damage.
Nice.
Have you ever seen what happens when a dry Christmas tree gets hit with fire?
Yes.
Funnily enough,
No,
yes.
Pretty.
Since Teddy did so much damage with her Eldritch Blast, when you call down Sacred Flame, it comes down onto this tree or this shrub, and it just sort of, you see it sort of singed a bit around the edges, and then it literally just goes, and all that's left is blackened branches.
Is my mouth enveloped right now?
No.
So I can say to the one holding me, that could be you if you don't let me go.
Make an not intelligence.
Intelligence.
Make an
Intimidation.
intimidation check.
Can
I've
he
been
have advantage
practicing.
since I've been helping him.
I'll say sure. Take it an advantage. You've been practicing.
We didn't get the
That's a
bag yet,
15.
though. Oh.
I still have a -1.
Mm-hmm.
But it's double digits.
I rolled a 19.
Oh.
But this shrub has a -4 to its charisma,
Holy shit.
which makes it a tie, and the tie goes to the Intimidator.
Yeah.
What's your name?
While it doesn't move away, you do feel its grip loosen on you, and you are no longer grappled.
That'll
I
work.
dust myself off. Yeah, it's right. You can let me go.
Rodney and Sir Cheddar, it is your turn.
All right. So, so there's just the one now, huh?
Yep.
All right. Well, in that case, Rodney is going to. Well, he does hate to be a one-trick pony today, but you know, leaf mites and all that are a thing. So he'll grab Pip, and Pip will spew forth some mites and fleas and flies again. And the shrub should make a Timothy's shrub should make a Constitution saving throw. My God.
Maybe it's a
Blessed be.
an
I said
infestation.
shrub.
An infestation of emerald ash borer.
Yes, exactly. Pip
Oh.
is very specific with the types of bugs he vomits upon his enemies.
Those
Sorry,
things are
that's a con save.
It is a con save, yeah.
Sorry.
That is a
Broken.
dirty 20.
Oh, not even close. The bugs. I don't. Perhaps this shrub has whatever that that sort of sap is that discourages bugs. So
Eat.
sad and somewhat embarrassed. Rodney just sort of slumps on Sir Cheddar.
That's all right, you Rodney. You can't win them all. Let me try.
Aw.
Oh, Cheddar.
Well, here's the thing about Cheddar. Cheddar doesn't really do damage. So, Cheddar is going to. Oh, Rodney, you got like bashed, right?
You're
I'm
Rodney.
Rodney. Timothy, you got like bashed, right? Y'all, I gotta go to bed.
Oh well, yeah. Mostly I got wrapped up, but then I lit that one on fire, and now it's kind of now ashes. But once I made this one see the error of its ways, it let me go. Isn't that right, Mr. Plant?
Let me rephrase. Dr. B, did you take damage?
Oh yes, I did.
Great. Okay, so Sir Cheddar will cast Healing Word on Timothy.
Thank you. How much do I heal for?
Oh, I should roll. I don't know. You heal. It wasn't too bad.
We're at that
you
point in the
heal
evening.
for 6 hit points.
Hot diggity.
That was another first level spot. Marking
Yeah.
that off.
Well, not only is that a first level spell,
Oh, right.
you need to roll.
I sure do, and I did roll for him after enlarge reduce, and I got
Yep.
an 8.
I'm getting nuked
This
by wild
time-
magic, aren't I?
No, this time it's an 18. Cheddar rolls great. It's just when Rodney finally casts a leveled spell, y'all need to be at least 120 feet out because it could be a fireball.
All
I don't
right.
have to do that for any other wizards. Why would I have to do that for you?
Well,
Very powerful.
Oh,
you never
okay.
quite know what's going to happen with the best of us.
It's true.
BB,
Again, did
you're
not.
up.
All right, so there is one last bit of vegetation left, right?
Yep.
Okay, can I hit this piece of vegetation and not hit Timothy?
Yes, he is no longer grappled by it.
Okay, perfect. Then I am going to say, someone needs a little trim off the bottom. And
Oh.
she's going to use her fun new scimitar and go thwacking at it.
Thwack, thwack, thwack.
Okay, 18.
That is a hit.
Okay, so then that is 5 and an additional 2 cold.
All right. And this is actually the first damage that this thing has taken.
Woohoo!
And we are back up to Teddy.
Dare you grapple my little Timothy? I will not have it. I will not have it. Eldritch Blast.
Zap!
This is a really
Whew,
perverse.
that was an adventure.
Indian
21
buttons.
to hit.
What? It's a perverse for.
Tonight is a thing.
What?
Sorry, not really.
What was your attack, Teddy?
21
Yeah,
to
it's
hit.
a hit.
And that is a 13 points of damage.
All right. Yes. Much more of this. Well, much like the other one, a large portion of this one absorbs the energy. Leaves and branches are burned away, and it is going to. This one is gonna heart spark you, in response or attempt to.
Wait, what?
Heart spark is what it's called.
I don't like the sound of that.
That's what it did before. This time it is a 12 to hit.
That does not hit.
So this time what it does is it takes that energy, and instead of being able to focus it directly at you, you just see some of the remaining branches, just electricity just sort of goes. And its attack is super ineffective. That is going to take us to Timothy.
So is the bush that let me go? Is it still kicking?
Yep.
Well, hey, they're Mr. Miss whatever honorific bush that you'd like to use. We'd like to be friends, so if you could stop attacking us, we'd stop attacking you, and then we could be pals.
There is no response from this tree.
Oh, does it look more intimidating or less intimidating at me?
It's a shrub.
It changes its positioning, and you see at least 3 large pointy branches of it just sort of move in a manner that looks like it's raising for a strike.
Well, we can't be having that now. So I take my mace and I swing for the cheap seats.
All right, fire away. Swing away.
Okie dokie. That's a 23.
That's a hit.
And that's 7 home run damage.
You bring your mace around in an arc, and it cuts through, grabbing hold of the shrub, and your mace slams into the wood of the door frame, severing the top half of this shambling pile. And as it does so, it collapses into a pile of leaves and branches. You have destroyed my bushes.
Sorry.
That was deliberate.
Yeah. Oh no!
I figured-
Oh no! I didn't mean to do that.
That's okay. We're
It's
still
fine.
good.
I'm dead. I'm streaming from beyond the grave now.
I've got church giggles now.
No.
D'Amico said that I had that one locked and loaded.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Well,
Yeah.
well, everybody, I think it's safe. I beat the bushes back.
Thank you, everybody. We'll be here all night.
made sure I burned one of them down, and then I broke the middle one, and well, this other one I tried to be friends with at first, but you know that'll learn those vicious bushes.
Well, clearly your intimidation has fully kicked into gear, Mr. Intimidator.
Rawr!
No,
Exactly.
chilled to my very soul.
Absolutely terrifying.
All right.
Works, Sir Cheddar. Hey, it's your turn. Something
I cannot
nice.
Even. Oh.
Sir Cheddar's just kind of standing there, doing, even at large size, just doing that thing that corgis do where they sort of use all 4 feet to turn a little bit. And he's just sort of got this corgi smile on his face, and he's sort of,
Don't you dare.
I've got no
See?
idea what you're talking about. I don't get most of your jokes, but I love the atmosphere here.
See, he's so terrified of you, Timothy, that he didn't even know, he lost track of the conversation.
Oh, is that true, Mr. Sir Cheddar? I was intimidating so much that you lost track of things.
So what's in the house then, eh?
Oh, that's right. We came to investigate the house, and I'm all out here intimidating bushes.
If I had a nickel.
All right.
Night, everybody.
So you all head inside the cabin.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Well, you've already gotten a thorough description. Nothing additional. You just can have an opportunity to have a closer look at this alchemist table and the contents of said table. Who is investigating that?
BB definitely would, because it reminds her a lot of her own
Teddy will
place.
help.
Rodney's going to go over. Rodney is not proficient in Arcana. Sir Cheddar is, but of course.
That's a 22.
That's good because Rodney's going to ride on them 22 coattails.
What's this natural 20?
Oh!
Oh,
Schmancy, man.
Oh,
So what is that with a modifier?
Arcana. 24.
Hey now.
you're an all-star. All right, what?
So I imagine as everybody's sort of looking over this stuff and looking at the manuscripts, I just imagine Timothy, you just sort of unintentionally, maybe you just sort of crowd your way in and kind of take hold of it as you see something familiar in the scribblings and the script that is on this manuscript. None of you looking at it can read it. Though some of you may have recognized that there were elements of, depending on your language comprehensions, elements of Elvish, Draconic, and even Druidic. But it's you, Timothy, as you look at it, that you realize this document is intentionally coded. This is a deliberate mixture of languages in such a way as to obfuscate whatever is actually said on these pages. You also know that to decipher it, it's going to take it is going to take a lot of concentration and at least 3 days of study.
Well, everybody, because I can read 2 out of the 3 languages that are on here, and what's going on with this scroll is that it's deliberately made to be hidden. See, it's a code of sorts that is meant to do. There's a word I can never remember. It's obfuscate or something.
Obfuscate.
That's the one. It's a fun word to say, obfuscate. But it's meant to definitely obfuscate our comprehension of the language, but it's a code, but it's going to take some deciphering. Definitely a couple days.
well, you have a homework assignment, Timothy.
Oh boy, I know how to do that.
What languages are they in?
Well, I recognize the Draconic. I recognize the Elvish. I don't know the third one.
I could probably help you out with the third one.
Well, you see, this scribble's right there that, well, I mean, I don't know what it is, but it's definitely scribbling.
Timothy, as you're flipping through, as you're describing this, whichever one of you it was that got the next highest in your perception investigation, you notice a single piece of scrap paper sort of flutters from between and floats to the floor.
Oh, what is this? And BB will pick it up.
Written in common on this scrap of parchment is 2 words underlined. Prince's Harper with a question mark, which is the town that you are on your way towards.
Interesting.
Do
What,
any
Rodney?
of the for what it's worth, do any of the things on this alchemist table, do any of the are there like potent ingredients around, or is it just the equipment?
It's mostly equipment. It does look like several of the component jars and things have been emptied. And anything that's left behind has wilted.
Okay.
Or was in a state of wilt. You don't find any useful components here.
Okay. Off chance, does any of what's left behind, does it look like it might be similar to what we found in the bag that Timothy found? Like, is this the house of the poisoner is sort of where I'm headed here?
I would
know that
say
we could
based
even
on
tell, but-
based on the high investigation checks that happened here, there's enough evidence to make you think that is a strong possibility.
Okay, great. Well, did BB share that little bit with us about the?
Yeah.
Right. We know that whoever it is will have to be back probably within a week at the most, and this is probably where they live. And I think that probably this note indicates that we were right about Prince's Ford or whatever it's called.
Prince's Harbor.
Oh, that one. Yeah, the harbor. It's different. So I think we should. I think we should probably keep going up towards the harbor, see if we can find, this person.
Curiosity, are there any small leather pouches here like the ones I found in that alcove?
Give me another investigation check.
Sorry.
Yep. Somebody clipped on
I
that.
was
Tamika was
prepping to
nice
watch
enough to
after.
clip the Bush comment.
Yes, I see.
Which
that.
one?
Destroying
so
the
many.
DM's bushes.
Can't
Yes.
get enough of it. Just can't get enough.
All right, so what's
Can't get enough of those
We were
Bush
watching when
comments.
We were done. I was just being
21.
prepared.
21? I will say that as you're flipping through, you find a crate shoved under the table, and inside there are 2 leather pouches similar to what you discovered inside the cave.
She will scoop one up on her fan and hold it up. Doesn't this look familiar?
Rather. Now, it wouldn't be fun to empty out the contents and put something quite generic inside that would do nothing, so they still think they're doing something.
Baking soda. Baking soda is always entertaining.
They're actually empty, these leather
Oh,
pouches.
they're empty.
Oh.
Oh.
You have thoroughly turned over, tossed this place. If you wanted to inspect any more of the property, there is the well and the
Isn't there a
wood
kiln?
pile and the kiln outside.
I did have a thought when
big
you
is the
mentioned the
kiln?
well. That's okay. Rodney will and Sir Cheddar will go check out the well just to see if there's other signs of tampering or anything similar to what was in the other town. And while Teddy handles the kill.
I'm just curious if the kiln is big enough to fit that clay pot we found. If it's big enough to have fired that.
It is absolutely big enough to have fired that. And investigating the kiln, you see there are ashes from the wood fire that would have kept it going. But there's also small bones mixed in with the ashes as well.
Ooh.
Do they look like human or animal bones?
They look like animal bones.
Okay. Just checking.
Sir Cheddar.
Turn away, Sir Cheddar. Turn away.
And
Yeah, cover the eyes. No pupper. No
Just
pupper.
cover
Sir Cheddar and Rodney, you're going to take a look at the small well.
Mm-hmm.
You go over to the well and you peer down inside, and this well is it's only about 3 feet in diameter and looks to be only about 15 feet deep, which is surprising for a well.
Yeah.
Which makes it that much easier for you to see that at the bottom of the well, under the water, there is a very dimly glowing emerald.
Rodney is gonna reach for it, and Sir Cheddar is gonna tell him to wait and cast Detect Magic.
I like that.
All right. Yeah, so as you start to reach Sir Cheddar just kind of actually gives you a bit of a playful nip on your hand and a little bit of a bark. Right, sorry about that. Don't reach for things that you don't know what they are. Let me try something. And I'm going to need a wild magic roll for that too, since that's a leveled spell.
Yep. Where's my 20? We'll use this one. I have 4 d20s in this set. Where have they all gone? Here they are. That was a 2.
That was
Oh
close.
dear.
As he's casting this spell, there's a little bit of like a weird sort of jump in like a surge of energy but it seems to sort of settle in, and he just kind of,
That was close, wasn't it?
and the emerald does indeed glow with magical energy. Sir Cheddar's like, right, yeah, okay,
Yeah. All
yes,
right.
it's definitely magical.
Yeah.
There's a wee bit of enchantment magic to it,
Okay.
and it appears there's conjuration magic.
Ah.
Conjuration magic. Emerald, water,
Yeah.
that there
Uh-oh.
is a water elemental gem.
Now,
That's
when
why
you
the
say-
jam the well's so shallow.
So, Cheddar, I'm going to be honest with you right now. I've understood a solid 50% of what you just said to me.
Right, sorry. Was I not speaking common? I do
No,
that
I mean-
sometimes.
Let's go with, you went to Corgi. So I'll tell you what I've got, and you fill in the gaps. So that is a gem that is a water elemental.
Right, you're very close. It's a gem that you can use.
Uh,
I believe they're only usable once.
ah.
And you can actually summon a water
Summon
elemental.
A water
with it.
elemental. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. That's what I meant. Right. Well, that seems useful, eh?
So it's actually all right if you wanted to grab it.
Oh, right. Well, grabby it is.
How are you grabbing it with like a mage hand, or are you like clambering down there and?
This is a good question. I think I will clamber down there. Why not?
All right. It's
No. Sir Cheddar is going to cast Unseen Servant and get it for us.
That is lovely.
right.
Oh dear, I slipped into Scylla.
In fact, before Sir Cheddar does that, since Sir Cheddar is doing literally all of the work for me, I will start to clamber down, and very quickly, like as I toss my stubby little gnome legs over the edge of the well opening, I will realize that I can't actually reach the closest footholds, and I'll just sort of kick for a few minutes and then look up plaintively at Sir Cheddar.
Oh my heart.
Right. Don't worry about it. And he gives you another wink, and he casts his Unseen Servant. And you don't see it, but you hear something scrabbling past you, and you see a little bit of displacement of water at the bottom, and then you watch as the gem is pulled up. And as it's pulled out of the water, you see as if it were displacing a much larger amount of water, the water level drops to just a few inches.
Oh.
And this gem floats right up and into your hand. And you can add elemental gem to your inventory.
Well, I think I'm going to give it to Timothy, because the rest of us got fun things from underground, and Timothy didn't.
Oh
like a-
boy!
Well, then Timothy can add that.
Like a
And
gift of it.
basically,
He's
Oh
Couple
boy,
of
I can
pets.
summon things.
right,
Yes, it's like Ginny, but
if you
even
It
more.
wants.
if you want, and when you want to do it, you take that gem and you break it against the ground, and water elemental will burst forth and be under your command.
Oh, I read about this one time. Boy, that's really nifty.
Very powerful magic.
Plus, I think it's going to really do a number on whoever lives here, because now they don't have a fresh water source. So they're going to have to use the lake, which they've poisoned.
What a shame.
And I would
Cool.
What a
like
shame.
Yes.
everybody
What a shame.
here to roll
Uh-oh.
me a perception check.
Oh.
Looky.
I swear down if I get an 11 again. I did.
Hey.
I will crack the heck up.
I did not. I got a
You did not-
17.
Sir
that's
Cheddar
respectable.
gets advantage on this.
Oh, that's good, because well, that's not that much better. So Cheddar got an 8.
Oh. All right.
21.
21.
Whoa. You get a 15.
I'm finally paying attention.
BB got what?
15.
And Timothy.
So with my new gem that I'm just kind of going sploosh, splash,
Yep,
splash,
yep.
splash, and waving it around, I got a 6.
Uh-huh.
Darling.
Teddy,
I'm summoning a water elemental. Splash, splash.
Teddy, and BB. BB, you hear in the direction that this trail heads, in the distance, how far you're not sure, but you hear the sounds of screaming. And Teddy, you smell something burning.
Fire.
And that is where we are going to end tonight's session.
Dang.
Good cliffhanger.
Nice.
Well, all right.
I gotta watch that clip now.
So now, as promised, I'm trying to be cognizant of the time that we agreed to and work the story in where I can get these nice little cliffhangers and rising and falling actions and stay true to our time frame where we normally stream this game from 8 to 10:30 Eastern. So I had a lot of fun with that, some of which was not even planned for, the double and triple entendres and all that
we
good
cycled
stuff.
back into it.
And I just want to say, it just warms my heart that Tamiko's the one that clipped that, because there's another clip out there that Tamiko...
Stefan, I think, actually clipped it.
Okay.
Yeah, and Tamika showed the
Timothy,
Excellent. Okay, credit where credit's due.
Tamiko could.
But Tamiko got clipped on Friday during the Curse of Strahd game on here because during the opening, they wouldn't even started the game yet, and she was promoting the MTD merchandise. And we have a T-shirt with a ham bone on it, an improvised ham weapon called Ham or Die.
Mm-hmm.
And she was wearing that shirt and said that she had the ham on her goodies. And that got clipped. So, yes, that kind of comedy is
Well,
right
at
here.
home.
It's welcome. It's a part of the thing. So,
What we do.
thank you
Have
all.
the fish, everyone. Good night.
Thank you all so much to everybody who tuned in tonight. This game just warms my heart. This group of players have such an incredible dynamic working together with these characters that already sort of have this built-in mythology and stuff, which just makes it that much more fun to interact with. And it's just so nice to see so many new people come in. Thank you for the raids and for the subs and the gift subs. If you haven't done so already, please hit that follow button so you can be notified when we go live again. And when we get out of here in just a moment, stick around because our friends over at Talon and Claw are still streaming their new campaign, brand new D&D campaign on the Talon Claw channel. They're running the Rime of the Frost Maiden. Their game is in fact called The Ice Holes. We're gonna throw a raid their way, but before we do, I just want to say an extra special thank you to V, GoblinKatie, Dr. B, and Eugenio, without whom it would just be me talking to myself for 2.5 hours. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to end the stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.
It's the bushes.